Hello and welcome to the WIHS Journal Public Affairs program. I'm Jerry Williams. Well, SoulFest is the Northeast premier multi-day Christian music festival. It's been around for over a quarter of a century. And today and tomorrow, you're going to hear from founder Dan Russell. That's happening now on the WIHS Journal. It's news and public affairs. Dan Russell, in case you are not familiar with SoulFest, it is what I like to call New England's premier multi-day Christian music festival. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for asking me. But I want to modify what you just said because we're changing our branding to the Northeast because we're now close to New York. And, New York is within that radius of, we have to pay attention to Syracuse, Ithaca, Albany, Poughkeepsie, Woodstock, etc. So we're changing our branding to the Northeast Premier Christian Music Festival.
And I'm so used to it being in New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And it was a 3-hour drive for me, but I love the drive. Now you're closer to me, just a little over an hour. For people who aren't familiar with SoulFest, briefly talk about the history.
And the motivation for starting this is basically my mother talking to me way back in 96, 97, and she would say, don't you condescend to where you came from. Think of something constructive, like a beautiful mom could do. And she put her index finger on my chest, tapping it like, are you awake? And so I thought about it, prayed about it for a good several months, and I came back and said, my idea is that I think many Christians don't have a good rapport, a solid rapport with their own souls. And if that is what, in fact, transcends to heaven, is eternal in nature, we're more flesh-oriented than soul-oriented. And so I came up with this idea that we want to encourage everyone to live from the inside out as a soul-connected, risk-taking believer in God's unconditional love for everyone. And if I could do an event under that umbrella theme, then I'd be open for it, But I didn't want to make Christ an adjective. I didn't want to just entertain Christians. I wanted something that at least I could live with as being solid and worthy of my time in life, and we started it in 98, but it's actually 97 because it takes a year to organize an event like this.
If you're just joining us, we are with Dan Russell, founder of SoulFest. Describe the SoulFest experience.
Well, when you get people together outdoors, there's more vulnerability that comes with that than there is with a reserved seat in a theater or something like that. And that vulnerability we want, because we want to convey things at SoulFest through all the music, the inspirational music, and all the teachings and different things we're doing there. We want that vulnerability so you don't go home that night and turn your TV on and go back to Netflix again. We want movement. We want focus. And SoulFest is an experience not unlike anything else that ever happens in New England. The lives are changed. People are turned inside out. Their focus goes from, I'm no longer going to be a religious Christian. I'm going to be a soul-connected, risk-taking believer in God's unconditional love. And I'm going to, have that visceral, personal relationship with Jesus. That's not something that just happens on Sunday.
So now you're in Massachusetts. Describe the venue.
The venue is Franklin County Fairgrounds in Greenfield, Mass. It's, I think, about 40 miles north of Springfield and about 20 miles south of the Vermont border. It's a beautiful town, a northwestern Massachusetts rural town, and the venue it's not a mountain like Gunstock, but it's set up. It's a tried and true fairgrounds, but it's not a big city fairgrounds, and so we can do about 8,000 people a day there, which keeps us in this boutique, small, medium size event that we can afford blue chip production and some great talent. A lot of the talent, there's probably 50 of them that are not from New England. They're from all over the world. And then we have about 25 New England-based artists as well.
Multiple stages?
There's 5 stages this year. They're all listed on our website, which is thesoulfest.com. And all the details are there, too. And we have an email list, and there's new news coming out every week, especially as we get closer.
Are you in need of volunteers, Dan?
Yeah, we could always be blessed by more volunteers. Anybody that has the time and the ability to and the heart to serve others, and that's what volunteers are. They volunteer to serve those who attend.
And you're going to have not only bands. You have, I don't know if it's a tent or an area where you have speakers and workshops. Well, it's not just music and bands.
Yeah, it's called the Soul University, and everything. We have different locations at different times where people gather and hopefully are inspired by the speaker, the author that we have coming in. But yeah, we have family games. We have all kinds of activities. So it's not just music, which is fine for me. But, we recognize that we want to be a family-oriented event. And so there's always things that we bring in to make this 3-day event, memorable. Lifetime memories are made here, and so we're it's a big event to pull off. It's if you think about a birthday party for 7,000 people. So it has a lot of coordination behind it, and a lot of dedicated people to pulling this thing off in such a way, and then we really just let God do what God does, and we get a glimpse, and we're thankful for the glimpse. I would be overwhelmed if I had more than a glimpse, because there's so many life-changing experiences happening at SoulFest.
Dan Russell is my guest, founder of SoulFest. SoulFest has been around for 20 plus, approaching 30 years. And Dan, you've been through a lot. You take a licking, but you keep on ticking. You've been through some difficult times recently, haven't you?
Well, life isn't, no guarantee that you're not going to. And if you're going to live life with our bodies and this culture and this government, and, there's always going to be challenges. I've had some physical challenges. Like in 2020, I had a brainstem stroke, and so that was, I woke up from when I became actually cognitively conscious. I just had to make a choice. I was either going to be bitter for the rest of my life, and I had a good reason to, or I was going to be grateful. And for things like my pillow or a fan in the room, or the simple things and the big things. But I chose gratitude, and I discovered that there is so much forward-moving fuel and energy in being grateful, and that's what keeps me going.
Well, we're so glad, especially people who are, I like to call them SoulFesters, that's been doing SoulFest for years. We love you, man, and we appreciate all you do. We know it's not easy. It's quite an undertaking to get SoulFest going year after year, decade after decade, basically, man.
Yeah.
And through all that it entails logistically, and then you going through all your physical challenges. That's why I say, man, you take a licking, but you keep on ticking. But the joy of the Lord is your strength.
Yes, definitely. And when I feel the load on my shoulders, I quickly, as soon as it kind of sneaks up on you sometimes, I quickly try to pass that on to God and say, look, I got stuff to do today. I don't have time to feel, oh boy, or fear, or oh no. I just got to keep going and trust God. It's 26 years in the making so far, and countless lives and stories, life-changing stories have emerged from this event, and I don't take credit for it. I take more fault than credit, because, if something goes wrong there, it's my fault. But if something goes right there, glory to God, He gets the glory. I just try to hit my marks smile, say thank you, hug as many people as I can, and then go right into rehab after this whirlwind week at SoulFest.
And you just heard my conversation with Dan Russell, founder of SoulFest, the Northeast premier multi-day Christian music festival, which takes place Thursday, August 15th through Saturday, August 17th at the Franklin County Fairgrounds, Greenfield, Massachusetts. Join me tomorrow at this same time for part 2. If you'd like more information about what you heard today, call WIHS 860-346-1049, 860-346-1049. I'm Jerry Williams for the WIHS Journal. It's news and public affairs.